Basically what she does is she calls me an absent father. She's never seen me before, doesn't know who I am, type of shit. That's how it makes it look, which is a fucking lie.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and what do we have today? Yes, more special operator influencer drama. No way, I bet you're shocked. But who's under the crosshairs of the internet this week? Yes, former Navy SEAL David Goggins, who's being accused of being a deadbeat father. Now, I'm going to put this up front at the start of the video so you know where I stand. I think this entire thing is incredibly stupid, and I'm pretty much going to defend Goggins in this video. But what's going on here, it brings up a really big issue a lot of people, especially civilians, don't understand about the difficulties men, especially fathers, can have in maintaining relationships with their children, especially after divorce in the military. All right, so let's jump into this. Let's discuss it, see what's going on. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Follow us on Patreon. All right, here we go. Let's do this. So what happened? How'd this all start to unfold? Because if you see in the media right now, there is just tons of videos on this, right? David Goggins and mother respond. David Goggins abandoned his daughter. David Goggins' daughter says he's a deadbeat, yada, 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 yada. It goes on and on and on. So the context of how this started, David Goggins' daughter put out a TikTok essentially accusing of him being a deadbeat father. Goggins talks about it here.
So it can't hurt me. I talk about my daughter. I don't talk a lot about her because guess what? She didn't ask to be where I am. And she just did something here about a week ago on TikTok. Basically what she does is she calls me an absent father. She's never seen me before, doesn't know who I am, type of shit. That's how it makes it look, which is a fucking lie.
All right, now before we get into what Goggins had to say in his defense, there's a couple things I want to talk about, right? This story is actually a great example. You hear it all the time, even on this channel. Veterans attacking veterans, me. All right, there is a stark difference, and this story is a great example of that, of holding people accountable for stolen valor, lying about their rank and service and awards and building brands and monetizing that, compared to attacking a veteran for a fractured relationship with a child. The first is called accountability. The second is actually just veterans attacking veterans. And look, I'll say this up front. I don't know the backstory of this. None of us do, about how this relationship over the last, 18, 20 years has fractured and fall apart. But I will talk about how common this is in the military. This is extremely common, especially for children of divorce. See, in the military, when you get divorced and you have kids, this isn't like a regular civilian job where you guys can continue most likely just living down the street from each other, co-parenting, seeing your kids all the time. In the military, what happens is you get divorced, kids live with mom because you're either deploying or you're getting PCS'd to a different part of the world. You could get sent to Germany or Japan, or just some completely different part of the country. And what do you think happens in these type of situations, okay? Dad has to deploy or PCS to some other part of the country or the world. Kids stay with mom. And so dad now sees his kids a couple times a year, if he's lucky, for an extended period of time, sometimes their entire childhood, if he's in the military. Now, you could criticize that if you want, should have got out of the military, things like that. Okay, if you want to feel away, that's fine. But I would say over a dozen guys who sadly either had completely disconnected situations from their families and their children, or struggled and did the best they could and saw their kids again a couple times a year at most. Yes, that is going to absolutely fracture a relationship between a father and a child. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily what happened with Goggins and his daughter. I'm not saying that I know that he's some great father. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's usually a ton of nuance and context to this, right? Goggins is not being accused of stolen valor, of beating women, of sexually assaulting women, okay? That's not the type of person we're talking about right now. Now, he might not be a very good person, but a lot of special operators aren't, but that doesn't make him the type of person that necessarily should be getting attacked for having a fractured relationship with a child. All right, and the second situation, and this isn't even just strictly pertaining to veterans in times of divorce, and this is just sadly incredibly common, is the wife, who almost always is going to get custody of the kids. That's the way our country works. In a lot of events, will either withhold the child from the father as a punishment for, a fractured marriage and things like that, or be so toxic that they completely sort of raise their kid to hate the father as well. Those are very, very common situations. I'm sure there's going to be people in the comment section or, yeah, I've dealt with that myself. All right, so when you have veterans who are, again, jumping on this one to make videos like Nikki TV here, Navy SEAL Goggins exposed as a deadbeat, that actually shows you the difference here. And I know this is so hard for some people to understand, which blows my mind. There is a difference between exposing someone for stolen valor and fraud and just attacking someone for a personal relationship issue. Two very different things. Hopefully, most of you are smart enough to understand that. I know a lot of people out there aren't, but that's okay. But this has actually triggered David Goggins so much that he's now addressing it, and even had his mom come out and sort of get involved, which honestly, you hate to see this. Same thing when I see all the stuff with Don Shipley and DJ Shipley, everybody in the comments section about how terrible one of the two of them are for it. You hate to see like drama between a father and a son or a father and a child unfold into a public forum in the internet. It's sad to see, really. It's more than anything. I feel just sorry for those families.
Divorced when she was about 1 year old. She pretty much made my daughter hate me. I was in her life until she was about 15. I've never one time attacked my daughter. I've never one time attacked my ex-wife. I've seen this stuff for years. People have made videos on me. That's my daughter.
Whenever I'd ask her to come visit me, she would say, only if David is not going to be there. I would beg her to try to have a relationship with her dad, and she said no.
Now, a little bit of devil's advocate on this one. Yes, of course, mom is always going to come in and take the side of her son. That's the way it goes. That's not giving us any real sort of context here in the situation either. But again, to my point, it's just really sad. Like, you hate to see like a father or grandma up on stage talking about bad blood between, father and son, the family. It's all just, man, like this is not the type of thing that you need to have on social media. Family drama, interpersonal relationship drama like this. Now, again, contextually, if that drama includes beating a spouse or essaying a spouse or a woman, yes, those are personal issues. And this is because this blew my mind with the recent stuff. Those are personal issues that have context that should be exposed. However, when we're just talking about, a father and a child who don't have a good relationship anymore, nah, man, that ain't for social media. And also, like, let's be real. This dude just got done finishing a 200-mile race. I think this was a week or so ago. Imagine the amount of time and training and all this shit this guy puts into this. Now, I'm not saying that's a reason not to have a relationship with your kids whatsoever. I'm just saying this is where he's at this point in his life. As I imagine this relationship has been fractured for years and years and years. And imagine he's not focused on it anymore. So, to wrap it up, is David Goggins a good father, a bad father? I don't know, man. None of us do. Only really the family involved knows that type of thing, right? But I can say, again, that watching this is strictly just family interpersonal relationship drama unfold on the internet is sad for everyone involved. And I hope they as a family, and especially him with his daughter, can reconcile this at some point. I mean, life is short, guys. And, you say this all the time with families. Do you really want to be on your deathbed and, regretting that you refuse to reconcile a relationship with your daughter or with your father or something like that? For all you watching who may be in situations like that, something to think about that, again, life's short and, everybody try to love each other and your families because, man, that's the most important thing to me. So sad to see. And I would encourage you when it comes to stuff like this, man, leave them alone. When it comes to stuff like exposing fucking stolen valor, yeah, continue. All right, that's going to do it for this one.